Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick, and in this video, I want to talk about the importance of proper body mechanics. Now, this is a very under talked about subject, especially with younger people. All right, guys? Really, especially with people, period. But I guess it's less paid attention to by younger people because younger people are youthful, more able to move around, looser, okay? So more flexible, all right? Things don't bother them as much physically, okay? They haven't had enough time, so to speak, to feel how the body can degenerate if you're not using proper mechanics over time. Now, once again, these are one of these things that we just attribute to how many years we've been on this earth, okay, as opposed to how we have been living and prepping ourselves on this earth that then gets us to a certain point. All right, guys? So it's real easy to not use proper body mechanics when you're young, and then just thinking that, oh, when I get, already setting yourself up, when I get a certain age, I'm just gonna start breaking down, I'm gonna start moving slower, I'm gonna become weaker, all based on the fact that I'm just getting older. You see what I'm saying? So you've already predetermined that in your head, and then you play it out, okay? And then the way that you live, play it out. So it's not that you just play it out just because you made it to that point. It's because you actually did the things to play out that outcome. So when you were younger, you didn't bend at your knees, you bent at your back, okay? You didn't rest properly, you didn't get the sleep that you needed, right? You didn't eat the right foods, okay? You didn't drink enough water. See, a lot of things that we think that we're getting away with when we're young, we're not actually getting away with it. It just takes time for it to manifest itself. So even if you have a car, okay, if you got a brand new car, no one's ever sat on your seats before, you have plush white seats, no one's ever sat on your seats before, and you go and I'm sorry guys, I thought my phone had stopped. But you go and you don't care, you have no regards for those seats because they're brand new, and you're just saying these are brand new seats, oh well. And then everyone that comes in your car, every time you get in your car, you just popping down on those seats. You don't make sure your hands are washed, you don't make sure your clothes are clean, you don't make sure you don't eat in the car so you don't drop things on. And then you know over time, the car, the seats become raggedy, right? The seats become worn down, and then we'll just say, let's just say it's been 2-3 years. We'll just say, well, the car's 2-3 years old. The seats, the seats are in, worse shape now. Okay. Well, this is the thing. Perhaps if you had made sure you took your time and sat down in your seat every time someone got in your car, don't just plop down in my seats. Okay. Maybe take your time, sit down in my seats. Okay. No eating in the car. Oh, I don't eat in my car. Making sure your hands are clean, making sure your clothes are clean. So if I know I have lighter seats, then when I sit down on these seats, I'm less likely to leave a stain. Okay, so these are things that even after 2 years, if you've been keeping up with these things, these ways of maintenance, right? Then guess what? Those seats may very well, if they don't look just as new as they did when you first got the car, then they gonna look much newer than a person who got the car at the same time you got it, but they ate in the car all the time. They worked at a coal mine, and they drove the car to work, and they drove the car from work, and they had the same clothes on, and they got coal dust all over you see what I mean? So the thing is, it's all about the maintenance. Now, to get back to proper body mechanics, right? So when we're younger, the more that we practice proper body mechanics, then the more we're going to maintain our body, barring something drastic, okay, a big time injury or something like that. So the idea is you want to move like you're old when you're not. Okay, so now I'll use myself as an example, and in my community, for people who happen to be in my community, who live in my community, who may happen to see this video. You know, if you pay attention and watch me, you know what I mean? Me being an example, you know, I'm sure I get stared at a lot, or just get, maybe someone may look and give me an extra 2 or 3 seconds trying to figure out exactly what is he doing. You know what I mean? He's doing something different, or why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And so even when it comes to my body mechanics, people may say that or do that. So anytime you see me, you always see me, if there's anything that I have to get off the floor, I'm always bending at my knees, or I'll get on my knees. You know, I'll get on one knee to grab something off the ground. I'll get on one knee to do it. I'll get on two. I'll bend down to two. Or I'll get on two, or I'll bend down like in a squat, like you know, like this. And just, you know, proper movement. So turn, not twisting, okay? Turning, moving my body as one whole unit, okay? This is very important. Moving your body as one unit, one organism. You've heard me talk about this in the past when it comes to, you know, body aches and pains and proper mechanics, and how you have to understand and look at your body. If you take the perception of my body, I'm just one body. I'm not my thigh muscle, I'm not my bicep, I'm not my shoulder, I'm not my neck, I'm not my back. So if my neck hurts, I'm not going to say my neck hurt. I'm going to look at it like, I'm not going to look at it like, man, my neck is just aching, so therefore I have neck issues. And so when you look at it that way, then you don't really, a lot of times you don't address the real issue, and you never see results, or the progress, or the results that you want to see, as far as not having that being a lingering injury. So many people, most people nowadays have neck stress, shoulder stress, back stress, head stress, because you know why? Because it's all connected. And so some people may just say, oh, my shoulder, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I got shoulder problems, or yeah, my neck gets sore, yeah, my back gets sore, yeah, I get headaches, you know. You know, and 9 times out of 10, if I heard somebody saying that, I would know that everything is an issue. Really, if you got headaches, I may know, and I would have to ask more questions, but I bet you got neck problems too, and I bet you got shoulder problems, and I bet you got wrist problems, you know, running down your arm. Everything is connected. Everything is connected, right? So the idea is to listen to your body, move properly, take your time, okay? And using it. And so I'm sorry to drive this home. The point I was just making about proper movements, moving the body as one unit. So therefore, if I'm sitting here and if I'm trying to get something from over there, I'm not looking at it like, oh, I am just my waist. All I need is my waist and my arms in order to grab this cup right here. So I twist and do it. See, this is bad. This right here is bad body mechanics. And over time, this seems like it's not. I'm a young man. I'm doing this. This is nothing, right? This is nothing. You know what I mean? If I keep moving like this over time, then eventually I'm going to have pride. If I just keep moving, because think about how many times you're moving. Proper body mechanics is so important, because you are using your body all day, every day. Okay, and people don't realize how their degeneration physically has to do with, say, the first 20-30 years of your life. If you have horrible body mechanics, and then, you know, then yeah, by the time you 40, you're gonna be there, and then you'll just say, oh, well, I'm 40. You know what I mean? I'm 40. This is what 40 feels like. This is what 40 looks like. No, that's what 40 looks like when, for the last 35 years, you ain't think about your health. Okay, you barely got any sleep. All you did was stress out, using a hurry for everything. So that's even in your day-to-day life with your movements. Like I was saying, instead of taking your time, turning your whole body, getting lined up, okay, with that cup, and then going down and getting that cup. You know what I'm saying? And then turning back around, getting my body square. You know, sitting up straight in this chair. If I'm gonna sit in the chair, because that's another thing, we sit in chairs too much. This is not natural, right? This is not something. I don't think this is the way that God, the Most High, intended us to sit most of the time. Now, if he gives us the smarts and the technology to come up with a chair, and it is more convenient, and if it happens to be more convenient, then I can't say. But what I will say is I don't know if the Most High, when He made our hips, I don't know if he had in mind like, all right, I'm going to make these hips so they can sit in the type of chairs that we sit in today. So most of us sit too long, and most of us hips are tight. Most of us and then especially if you're a guy already, you're just naturally more muscular and tend to be less flexible than women and tighter than women, right? Isn't that a general? We can all pretty much assume that, right? That women in general as a species are more flexible and loose than men, and that's probably because men carry more muscle than women, and muscle is hard and it's tight and it tends to contract, and so we get stiff and we get stiff. So but that's the thing, and so like I said, just proper body mechanics, guys, and just lining up, doing everything lining up. So no twisting, no turning, lining, keeping the whole body aligned and moving it as one unit, going in one direction. That's one thing, okay? Another thing is when you're an athlete, when you grow up an athlete, and that's why some of the most broke down people, it's very ironic, and it's crazy, guys. How isn't it ironic how some of the people that you look at as some of the most able people, and they are some of the most able people, some of the most athletic, some of the most just physically gifted people, talented people, who can run faster than the average person, jump higher than the average person. They're strong, you know what I mean. Get out there. So people who are athletes early on in their life, they might be the epitome of physical condition and ability early on, but because of that lifestyle, sometimes a lot of those guys, depending on to what level they play up to, by the time they're 40 years old, they old men. Why do you think in sports now it's changing just a little bit because of things that we're talking about now, we're addressing now, people becoming more health conscious, finding better ways to take care of themselves and have more longevity and last longer. Look at Tom Brady. You know what I mean? But let's just say for so long, that's why so many guys retire. In pro sports, what you're an old man at 34, 35, 34, 35, you consider the old veteran, like a nice, good old veteran, ripe old veteran. And if you play to late 30s and 40s in most of these sports, then you consider to have an above average long career and things like that. Most guys get beat up, man. You know what I mean? For one, most guys, by the time they get to the pro level, if they're fortunate enough to even make it that far, right? You've been playing for a long time, man. So by the time you 21, 22, 23 years old, coming out of college, you go to the NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever. You done already been playing, that sport at a very at a very high level. If you made it to the professional level, you've been playing that sport at a very high level, at the highest levels that you could attain at certain points of your life. So you might be a varsity football or basketball player. If you're good enough to get a scholarship to go to college, or if you're fortunate enough to play in college for whatever reason, you playing in college, which is the best of the best. And that those kids, even if it's a Division III school, a lot of times those guys have to try out or be selected. So they're within their circle to a certain degree. They are elite athletes, you know what I mean? So and so on and so on. So and then you're competing against these guys. You're going head to head. You guys are beating each other up. You guys are competing with each other and beating your body up and things like that. And a lot of things that you do not notice when you're young, okay, and you don't think about when you're young, will affect you later. So a lot of times, man, people don't realize. It's just like with medical issues that people don't know they have, right? Because it may be something internal and it may not be bothering you that much or whatever, or people ignore certain things, whatever. But it's kind of like that. And then until it gets worse, right? Like, so have you heard of people who who might go to the doctor and realize they got stage 4. Well, how didn't you know that you had stage 4 cancer? You see what I'm saying? But if then by the time you get to a certain point, then you know you got it. You know what I mean? Like so it's the same thing when it comes to body mechanics, guys. So when you're younger and things, you don't feel a lot of these things, these stresses, these inflammations. You're consciously inflaming yourself. Okay? We live on a planet, we live under gravity, so to speak, or with gravity. So therefore, you're constantly being pulled down, weighed down. The atmosphere, you're constantly being affected. Okay, the atmosphere changes, and it does, guys. You have your body, your mind, everything. Your energetic body, your physical body has a relationship with just gravity and the atmosphere itself. So you're constantly being pulled down. So if you don't have of actual program, and you're not conscious of how to combat these things and minimize the outcome of these things if they go unchecked, then then you're going to be a victim of gravity. And we all going, like I said, we all going to have to deal with gravity, but how are you dealing with it? Can you have a better relationship with it? You know what I mean? So with that said, like I said, when you're younger, and there's so many things, guys. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping all over. I know I'm in the same pot, but I might be jumping to different areas in the pot. You know what I mean? From one corner to the next corner, one area of the pot to the next area of the pot. But like I said, it's all good. You know what I mean? And you guys, so when you have to make sure you're moving your body all in the same direction at once, okay? One goal in mind, one body, okay? That'll help, okay, guys? Then, like I said, doing things properly when you're younger, even if you think you are Superwoman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, I don't care who you think you are when you're young, okay? Even if you are that, try to stay that. Look at it that way. And look at it that way and say, okay, I'm Superman, but I want to be able to perform at this level as long as I can. Am I going to beat myself up now? And then in 20 years, talk about how I used to could do this, how I used to could run a marathon, how I used to could, run that race, or how I used to, compete in Tough Mudders, how I used to, whatever, how I used to be a great NFL player, how I used to be a great NBA player. Do I want to be able to play at a high level for way longer than most people could think? You know what I mean? Without tearing myself down. So just having a better relationship with gravity, being mindful when we're younger, doing things the right way, moving like an old person even if you are young. That is the key, okay? So, for example, treating yourself, this goes to show you the mentality of how people think and how they think that you don't supposed to address something until it becomes an issue, as opposed to eradicating the issue or stopping the issue before it can even become one, okay? So, I like to get massages. You know what I mean? And any chance I can get a massage, I will. So yeah, sometimes I go pay for massages. When me and my ex was together, we frequently massaged each other. And I get my children massage. That's the little way I let my daughters, be able to earn something. You know what I mean? And whatever. So I like to get massages. I get my neck, back, my head. My hair on top of my head. I like massages. Massages stimulate blood flow. Okay. If you do have any sorenesses and things like that anywhere, it just feels good on a sore, tender muscle. Just for somebody to massage it, loosen it up, right? So these things are more so preventive. For example, I had a person that was in my family though. They thought that they was like, oh, is your the girls are rubbing your back. Is your back hurting? Do you need me? I'm like, nah, I'm good. It don't really hurt, but at the same time, why is that like how you perceive? Why is the person? So it's how we look at things. We don't even think that maintaining ourselves is necessary until we screwed up. So therefore, in order for me to want a back rub or a back massage, my back had to be messed up in the first place. That's the mentality of this person. So we don't address anything, you see what I'm saying, until it's a problem. Make sense? why you drinking water? You must be dying of thirst. No, I don't want to get dehydrated, so I'm drinking water now so I can stay hydrated. It's not about I'm already dehydrated. You must be dehydrated. You drinking water. Come on now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You stretching. You all right? You know what I mean? Think about it. You know what I mean? So just do things right, guys. Do things the right way. We know you're not an old person if you do have proper body mechanics. And trust me, and then when you do get a certain age, and them people who was looking at you like you were crazy, because you was actually listening to your body, figuring out what works for your body, proper movements, proper ways to move, proper ways to rest, proper ways to heal, proper ways to take care of yourself. And then if in 30 years, and if you still kind of the same, maybe the same that you, or maybe even better, because a lot of us guys, another thing is a lot of us have issues we got to heal. We spend so much time dealing with gravity and how it's bringing us down. If we can spend more of our brain energy, our brain capacity, having a better relationship with gravity, therefore we can use more of our brain capacity to start healing things that we've already screwed up, if that makes sense. So now you can start making progress. So you cannot, so for one, you can address the problem, manage it, right? So you can manage pain. Like, for example, there you go. So example, when I hurt my knee, okay? When I hurt my knee, I had to manage pain until I got better. It makes sense. So I had to keep managing pain but I couldn't manage the pain and then just let it stay the same. So some people, the reason why they don't bounce back, that's why you think people bounce back from injuries different. Now, genetics has a lot to do with it, right? But at the same time, sometimes it's just how people take care of themselves post whatever their injury was. Some people can never really heal like they supposed to because they don't allow themselves to heal properly. Okay, so when I hurt my knee, I wasn't like I'm just trying to manage whatever pain I have and stay stagnant and then possibly move backwards from there. No, I had to manage my pain in order to get better, to heal. And now my knee is not stagnant, or wasn't stagnant. It's not the same knee it was when I the first year that I hurt it, or the second year, the third year, or it got to a certain point that maybe after the third year, whatever progress you've seen, that's it. And then no, it's gotten, I manage pain, and and then I do all the right things, and it gets better and better and better and better and better. Okay, so now you can start to reverse. So you're not just managing. Now you're tapping into those reserves to be. I mean, you're not always tapping into your reserves in order to just maintain. Now you got enough gas that you can not only maintain what needs to be maintained, but now you can just go start addressing things that you couldn't address otherwise. Make sense? So, that's the thing, guys. So just moving, man, not trying to see, like, when you are an athlete and you have been injured and you understand, then when you start to take health and things like that seriously, and just being able, you start to realize the main thing you want to do is not get injured. That's the main thing. Injuries, guys. Injuries, for one, injuries take a lot of hard work. Depending on how serious the injury is, it take a lot of hard work to get back. Most people don't acquire the discipline it takes to really, really rehab yourself all the way back from an injury. They get lazy, and then therefore that injury never heals properly, never comes back, and just becomes a hindrance, okay, to your life, which makes it easier. It's just become more unhealthy. Because now, okay, how many people do we know once they get certain injuries, that's their crutch now, to not do certain things? All right, let's do this. Boom, but I tore my ACL. Boom, boom. Let's go ahead. Oh man, nah, man, I dislocated my shoulder. Such. All right, well, okay. So now the shoulder's just going to degenerate. The ACL is just going to completely, the knee is just going to completely atrophy and degenerate now, because now what? I mean, how long are you supposed to rest? So when you get an injury, the resting phase, okay, yeah, when you initially just completely inflamed and hurt, depending on how serious the injury is, then yeah, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time just for you to be able to start rehabbing, so to speak, physically, physical rehab. But after you get to that point, the rest is up. Now you got to start building the muscles and the tendons and all that stuff back up again, and try to get back as much as you can to either get back, because some people just don't perform at their best in the first place. So a lot of things what I realized is the more I got injured in my life, and then when I got like in my when I started when I really started like being conscious of certain things, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, uh, I said, I realized that it's stuff that I could do now that I couldn't do when I was 17, 18 years old. And so what? I mean, obviously I'm chronologically older than I was then, but why am I more able? So that goes to show you your lifestyle and what you've been working on. Well, at the same time, when I was 17, 18, I didn't care what the hell I ate. I didn't care how I moved, and what I wasn't even conscious that I was moving bad or moving wrong and things like that. You know what I mean? The injuries I did acquire prior to being help conscious of these things, I didn't, I wasn't doing the right things immediately to heal them. So, for example, my senior year in high school, I completely broke my ankle. I, for one, I didn't even respect the fact that I broke my ankle. No one did. So it was a thing where I was told I had a high ankle sprain. You know what I mean? And me not having that much experience with injuries, me being young and just me being, and everything, my mentality, maybe even my physicality, genetics, things like that. I sat there and played. I played on a broken ankle. Now it was obvious I was hurt, but most people ain't going out playing on no broken ankle. Ain't going out playing on no broken ankle and nothing. You know what I mean? Especially not no football. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. But and so I didn't, but I didn't properly ever hit. For one, I didn't respect the injury. I didn't know it was a complete break, and therefore I just shouldn't even been playing that season. Period. So I already was screwing up, damaging that ankle even more, because I wasn't giving it that initial rest that it needed. And then once it did heal, however it was gonna heal, I didn't do things to properly get the function all the way back. So it took years. So it kind of just heal how it heal. You still do your thing. But what happened was, when I had to start getting conscious of I had to start learning about things like scar tissue, taking my time and being disciplined, getting my flexibility back. Okay, certain stretches, how other aspects of my body or other parts and areas of my body relate to my ankle. You know what I mean? So I can know what else I need to build up around it that will help support it. Make sense? All right. So yeah, guys. So this is just something to think about. And I know this one was a straight ramble and a rant, but once again, I know there's some jewels in there. Hopefully, there's some jewels in there that you can take and apply to your life, and something to think about. This is not no big topic. I mean, people talking about, hey man, you being conscious of your body mechanics today so you can last longer. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Because it's not about how fast you're moving, it's about who covers the most ground. So it's the same thing. Like, it's about making things look easy. So, for example, guys, I got real long legs. It'll be real easy to look at me running and think that I'm slow. Make sense? But then if I was to race you, per se, you might be a little short person with little legs. Okay? We can race. Every step I take, I may cover more ground than you. Okay, so you might have little short stubby legs that look like they're moving real fast, but if we race, I might actually even beat you in the race, and I look like I took 2 or 3 strides, and I look like I was just moving slow, but I was covering ground with my strides. Okay, not necessarily trying to look like I'm moving the fastest and wasting energy. You don't have to waste energy to accomplish things. Try to accomplish things, and at the same time, reserve as much of your energy as you can. Right? So if I could take one step and get to the goal line, and I ain't have to break a sweat, yeah, it looked all the theatrics. It looked good if you're short and you moving them little legs real fast, but you still back there. You know what I mean? So it's about also moving properly and not trying to move fast, but move right and move efficiently and effectively. That's why even with boxing, it's about angles. Okay, how do I get there? Am I gonna walk all the way around to get there, or can I just step out or whatever? So it's about angles and things like that, guys. So yeah, I think I think that's a really good point, something to think about. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, hopefully this was a helpful video. Peace.